2020 to United States elections. The 2020 to United States elections were held on November 8, 2022, with the exception of absentee balloting. During this U.S. midterm election, which occurred during the first term of incumbent President Joe Biden of the Democratic Party, all 435 seats in the U.S. House of Representatives and 35 of the 100 seats in the U.S. Senate were contested to determine the 118th United States Congress, 39 state and territorial U.S. gubernatorial elections, as well as numerous state and local elections, were also contested. This was the first election affected by the 2022 U.S. redistricting that followed the 2020 U.S. Census. The Republican Party narrowly won control of the House, while Democrats slightly expanded their majority in the Senate. While midterm elections typically see the incumbent president's party lose a substantial number of seats, Democrats dramatically outperformed this historical trend and had a net gain in the Senate. Although election analysts highly anticipated a red wave election, it did not materialize, and the race for control of Congress was closer than expected. Republicans did well in strongholds like Florida, Tennessee, and Texas, and also saw a surge in traditionally Democratic New York, which was enough for them to flip the House with a slight majority. This was somewhat offset by a significant underperformance in critical battleground states, where voters mostly rejected extremist Republican candidates that were backed by Donald Trump or that denied Trump's loss in the 2020 U.S. presidential election. Their underperformance was particularly unexpected given Biden's poor approval ratings amongst Americans. The Democratic Party's strength in state-level and senatorial elections was historic, as well as unexpected. They won a net gain of 2 seats in the gubernatorial elections, flipping the governorships in Arizona, Maryland, and Massachusetts. Conversely, Republicans flipped Nevada's governorship. In the state legislative elections, Democrats flipped both chambers of the Michigan legislature, the Minnesota Senate, the Pennsylvania House of Representatives, and achieved a coalition government in the Alaska Senate. As a result of these legislative and gubernatorial results, Democrats gained full control of government in Michigan for the first time since 1983, and in Massachusetts, Maryland, and Minnesota for the first time since 2015. 2022 is the first midterm since 1934 in which the president's party did not lose any state legislative chambers or incumbent senators. It was also the first midterm since 1986 in which either party achieved a net gain of governorships while holding the presidency, and the first since 1934 in which the Democrats did so under a Democratic president. Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida, previously considered one of the nation's most contested swing states, won re-election in an unexpectedly large landslide, leading to analysts calling him the election night's biggest winner, as well as the Republican Party's only big win. 6 referendums to preserve or expand abortion access uniformly won, including in the states of Kansas, Kentucky, Michigan, and Montana, as did those increasing the minimum wage Nebraska, Nevada, and Washington, D.C., and expanding Medicaid coverage South Dakota, while Maryland and Missouri became the latest U.S. states to legalize recreational cannabis. Voters in Nevada also approved ranked voting over first past the post, while those in Illinois and Tennessee approved a state constitutional right to collective bargain and a right to work law, respectively. All but Louisiana of the 5 states where it was on the ballot, Alabama, Tennessee, Oregon, and Vermont abolished slavery as punishment for a crime, issues that favored Democrats included significant concern over extremism and a lack of respect for democratic norms among Republicans, along with abortion rights and a potential Trump 2024 campaign. Among others, candidate quality, particularly in the Senate, as well as youth turnout, and raised concern over climate change, and the relative popularity of Biden's climate policy also played a role. Both general turnout and turnout among voters aged 18 to 29, which are a strongly Democratic constituency, were the second highest after 2018 of any midterm since 1970. The elections continued demographic trends starting in 2012, in which Republicans made gains among the working class, especially whites, but since 2016 also some minorities like Latinos, while Democrats improved among college-educated whites.